Good morning, everyone. We all know what's going on. As I look around, it's no big deal. Typical reaction to what would have been anticipated. Um, no huge breakdowns or breakouts. Just everything pretty much trading in its own range. I haven't looked at everything, so we will see where things are at. All right. So here's the S&P's futures on major support, still within the trading range, bouncing back and forth, bottom of the range. So now, now we need to see some stabilization. There's news at 10 o'clock. Be aware of that. Could move the markets. Um, but we see, does it stabilize? Go back to the top of the range, break down, go down to the 200 MA. We need information, which is, I'm sure, going to take a couple of days to see where does today end. Down below here, does it close below here? Does it close where it's at right now? Moving around. But we've got this large, very large overhead resistance area. So I don't know. The more I look at it, the more I think like, man, and this thing just has to break down, meaning that would be the best case scenario. The best case scenario. Moving sideways is going to take a while to where there's historical patterns where it would chop around here for a while, break down, come back up again to be able to have some type of move of significance. Whereas if it rattles around here and whatever ignites a move to the downside and maybe testing, these lower levels, the 200 MA and these lower levels moving away from some of this. And the process of doing that, um, potentially making it easier for prices to go up, since all of this is based on accumulation, distribution, the back and forth, uncertainty. And so a little downdraft, if that's in the cards, could help relieve some of that pressure. We'll just have to see, what unfolds, where today ends, and of course, what other bombs go off. Yeah, yeah. I saw, what Europe was holding up better overall. I mean, uptrends and so on was looking better than this mess. So we'll just have to see how this unfolds. We need to apply bar by bar analysis, and that'll guide us to what's going on and what's happening. So, if we get a big wide range bar up, that means, okay, something occurred that created a large buying surge. Or if we see a big wide range bar down, clearly the opposite. And then we look to the left and look and see which one did I, this one, yeah. See what happens down there. Right now, we're in no man's land, so to speak, looking for some bar data to yeah, I saw the dollars up a lot. Um, Guide us to a bias. Right now, it's just, hey, if you didn't know that there was, you know, a new war going on, uh, you just say, market's doing what it normally does. It's down at the bottom of the trading range. Let's see if it holds up. All right. Spiders. Go. Bottom of the trading range. All right. Pivot lows, gapping down there. So far, it's not holding. Uh, Initial gap down was bought, didn't get very far. So sellers came in prior to any type of a gap fill pre-market or even touching the prior day's low. So that's a sign of weakness. No one's want to jump in here unless I would assume it's down, probably all the way down here. So we'll see if this follows through. Um, Now, with SPX, how far these move on these exaggerated moves, this stabilize, it's going to move back down to 20, I'm sure, the way it's coming down. But let's give it the benefit of the doubt and call it 25. And 6,900. Interesting. So interesting. The call strike came down about 25 points, whereas this went down about 95 points. So it's not like they both came down relatively the same. That's been that way for a while. And what that means is, and the way I read it, is that the underpinnings of this market has a lot of bearish sentiment. I suppose what's created all of this, but the other side of the coin or argument is, yeah, you know what? It's gone up a lot. In the past, you can see the weekly chart over there, and based on valuations, based on AI bubble, based on whatever reasoning you want to put to it, it's not so bad. Right? And it's just consolidating the gains in an erratic, choppy fashion. And most topping patterns are noted by wide whippy ranges and what we have. So maybe, I'm not today, but maybe it needs to come down here. Like we look at the S&Ps and get some type of a downdraft going that creates a void up above, and over some time start to rebuild. And but that's what we call the factory work. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been through nasty bear markets. We've been through bull markets, been through choppy sideways markets that seem like they'll never end. They all seem like they'll never end. And then they just kind of restart the engines again, however they deal with whatever the correction is going to unfold here, which is not clear yet. So we'll look at other markets to see where they're gapping to. And so let's see the same thing. The NASDAQ 100 is down on major support. We're going to see if it holds here. Buyers going to step up or not. Let's look at the Russell, which is gapping down to major support where the buyers are. So far, it's holding. The diamonds gapping down to major support. And you can see these, this will be a lower high and a lower low into the bottom of this range. And so on the weekly chart, anytime you have a deep retracement, you're going to have a bearish pattern of some type on a higher time frame. Could be a topping tail, could be a bearish 180. Some arrangement of candles is going to show an up move and a down move. Question is, does it violate the trend? Now, see, there's no pivot lows until way down here, but common sense, right? This is what I called in the relatively new course I did at the end of the year, a poke bar. And so what does that mean? That means, well, it's not marked as a pivot because it doesn't have three higher lows to the left and right. But you look at it and common sense says that's an area of support because it has, a couple of bars there, and it's a wider bar and it went up. So that would be a significant support level. And as you can see, when I move the cursor on the daily chart, it's a significant support level. So related to, if you're going to use the Dow itself instead of the Russell, 4,800, 48,000. Let's see if that holds. And as I said, we're just going to go from there. In the first 5 minutes, 30 minutes, we'll just see how things unfold. All right, Bitcoin. So the things that are down a lot already are holding well. Not a big deal. It's forming a trading range. And like the others, is it going to be another leg down? Does it need to test 60,000? Will it break below and then maybe flip back up again or keep going down? When we look at patterns like this, the answer is nobody knows. Yeah, there's opinions. I should buy it there. I should not buy it there. But the opinion has changed like it has from over here where, look, Charts show us opinions. I'm not so sure. I think I should buy it. Someone else thinks sell it. No, I'm not buying. Sell, sell, sell. Oh, I think it's a good place to buy. Oh, that didn't work. And you get these accelerated moves. So the question becomes, is this a sideways move prior to an acceleration down, or an accumulation that's going to result in a move up? Well, Don is saying, beware the eyes of March. Historically, seasonality, March is a good month. February is not. So if we were to base on a seasonality, this should, by the end of the month, turn out to be a good month. But seasonality doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just a probability. All right. Oil is up, of course, gapped up. Oil supplies possibly being disrupted, all of that stuff. So question is, where is it in relation to resistance? It's gapping up. We look to the left and it's gapping up to resistance. And you got a red bar there. Now, hysteria, and I'll just say it in that way, a panic of some type or all out buying, if it clears that area, that's where opinions begin to change. Oh, that's going to go up to $100. Well, right now it's just stuck at this resistance area. And just like the markets are at major support, this is at major resistance. And there's no clear message here other than what I just said. All right. I don't know that we really need to look at the other futures contracts, but I just peeked through it. A little selling, profit taking coming in silver. Looks great on the daily chart. We talked about this breakout, this consolidation. It's gapping up. The dollar is up. I'll just take a peek at that for a second. Gold is not backing off. This type of pattern looks like new all-time highs are in the cards. And this is a great representation why bar by bar analysis is so powerful, because it continues to update us with information that's objective. When you see a big red bar like that, there's only one thing to think in the moment: power. Well, it's on support. What's going to happen from there? Well, we need to see prices tighten up. Maybe it's going to go back down to 4,000, and you start seeing pivots form and red bars ignored, and you have to begin to shift your bias. So resistance is up there, wide range bar creates a big void, and the uptrend gets the benefit of the doubt. All right. VIX. Where did it hit? Okay, so it's cleared all of these highs. And if the scenario of lower prices are going to happen, you want to have an alert set up here around 28 to be aware if the markets are selling off, VIX hits this level, makes you thought, hey, maybe it's going to start to bottom. Maybe you get an NYSE tick extreme at that time. You start looking for bottoming patterns or what's showing relative strength. Maybe Bitcoin isn't collapsing. Maybe things like IGV over here, which is gapping down a little bit, but nothing of great significance. So stocks and sectors that have been declining for a while now are showing relative strength. They're not going up, but they're not going down the way other things did. So you got a bottoming tail bar over here, and it is on major support. And so this is being accumulated. There's no doubt whether it could return to an uptrend, yet to be seen, but this retracement, that's a good sign. All right. Other things, well, before I hand it over to Dan. Magnificent Seven does not look good, right? Gapping down to major support. There should be buyers there. I know there's going to be buyers there. Let's see if they can turn it around. Of course, Netflix was, like, well, not Netflix. Well, we all know the story with Netflix. The deal was done. But NVIDIA, on these amazing earnings, got creamed. Now it's sitting on the 200-day moving average. Major support is lower, and buyers are going to show up in here, somewhere in here. Um, Probably, I'm thinking, Dan, something like this with some stabilization, especially if it gets down here. Even with a 15-minute reversal bar, should be a good put spread for the end of the week. I would think it's jacked. Um, but we'll see about
Yeah,
that.
and Morgan also gave them an upgrade. Just
Yeah,
FYI.
yeah, probably self-serving upgrade, but who knows? But
Right.
there's the dollar moving up, and so interest rates. Let's take a look at what interest rates are doing here. Up a little bit, and they're down on major support, as you can see on the weekly chart. So it certainly made sense that buyers were going to come in and bonds would get sold. So that in part is a good sign that money's coming out of bonds and equities are gapping down. You see the reversal there. Maybe there's some early accumulation. We're just going to have to see how it all shakes out here in the next few hours and next day. All yours, Dan.
Well, good morning. This market is helping two of our positions in the ETF. Can you all hear me? Okay. By the way, I'm on my laptop here this week, talking
I
through the
think your
laptop.
sound is better than when you're home.
Really? That's funny. It's my beautiful Asus laptop for $1,200. And ITA we're in the ETF letter. We have a full lot. So Greg, I did not give a target, but I moved the stop Thursday's low, or maybe the week's low, I forget. Gold, we have a full lot. I gave a target of 499 spot 50, but it looks like it's pulling in right now. HL, we're long stock and put spread, pulling in. I had an I bid alarm go off. I had an up alarm go off. But as Greg said, that's relative strength, actually. Anything holding Friday's low is relative strength. 50% pullback in here. These are alarms I'm going through. Coin, low alarm. We have a half lot. Ribbon. I don't know what alarm went off there. It's not doing much, but again, the fact that it's, well, I can't tell. In the Uber, we have a put spread gapping down, but we should be okay. So Pelletier, we have a put spread. So I tightened the stop to 30-minute low on that, but that's a beautiful bottoming pattern. And this was in the advisory letter to buy the stock over Friday's high. So I don't want to buy a 5-minute high, although it's not it's not excessive. So Greg, if you'll help me watch that for a new entry. And then this whole kind of, it's not a war sector like NOC, RTX, but those will be rocking too. These are, I think, drone makers. So AVAB 280, bottoming pattern, maker support, looks great. KTOS. Pattern's not as good as AVAF. ONDS looks good. 1050, that'd be a 30-minute high. RCAT 1265. Nah. Sting is a Sting and Fro or Froze oil. Sting is a shipper, gapping up to 82.5. That might be a gap and crap call spread. Fro, is this oil or a shipper? It sure looks like a shipper. Looks like Sting. Um, Gapping up. Tanker, all right, thanks. Yeah, it looks very similar to Sting. Private credit still under pressure. I wrote down a couple of them here. APO, BX, CG's a mess. Aries. Aries is they're just not ready. But Al started it. And then I don't know if you read, there was a private equity firm in London who went belly up. That some big banks are going to take a little bit of a hit. Thomas T. Duck. Yeah, that's on my list. It's in here somewhere. I was considering that for the letter as a 1, 2, 3, but I think target is 50, so that's just 1 to 1. I think my alarm is at 540. But yeah, that's on my list. And I would, if we do buy it, I would just make my stop Friday's low, not Thursday. This, yeah, that I like. That's a bottoming pattern. I'd say target 54. Let's put that on the list. A couple earnings here. Look at this disaster. Man, that was an igniting gap breakdown. Now it's from 17 to 9. I have that in the bottom right. We'll see if it wants to, if buyers view it as a buying opportunity. NEXT, I wish it were capped into like 570, 580. It kept rocking here pre-market, but that's a igniting gap from a bottoming pattern. I made a comment to Greg pre-market. And I said it in the room last week. I said I was shocked that travel and airlines and cruise ships were holding up so, and hotels were holding up so well when I was surely very confident that Trump was going to do what he did. And, a lot of things were holding well. But now today, obviously, those three sectors are down. But NCLH cruise ship, I mean, look at that. Does that look like war was imminent? No, that looked like a friggin' daily, weekly, monthly breakout. But these are earning stocks, so that's an ugly gap. I don't know what to do with it. Here's bottoming pattern. Broke out Friday, big old topping tail. Let's see what that does. Berkshire 496, no pattern. Victor Golf 1132, gap's too big. Again, let's say hypothetically it was gapping to the top of the range. Then I would be all over that to buy a small little 5 or 10 minute buy setup. But it's a consolidation pattern, the void on the weekly, but the gap's too big now. For me at least. Similar. Look, this one looks pretty good. Doesn't have a good as void because all this resistance here. Well, actually, it's opening flat. And we'll come back to it, see maybe 30-minute high. This, cracked the uptrend, but this is a fluid move down. So it could be a watch just for a partial retracement. TPB gapping down. That's a big old gap, but well, right there, minor support. We'll come back to that. I said in 35.25. Bearish gap, no pattern. I just had a PRE alarm go off. Oh, this looks like a SAM setup. Sell setup, reversal at the 50. So low alarm, let's watch that. Maybe 5-minute low. That's a sloppy bull rectangle. Don't like it. 114. This could be possible 1, 2, 3. We'll come back to it. RDNT 73. There you go. There you go. That's a gap to the top of the range. That's a perfect 30-minute high. All right, so whoever wants to help me watch these, I'm just on a laptop this week, so I don't have all my 6 screens, but I like that one. This one, 103.50. Win, see, leisure, hotels, people afraid to travel. So that's a short on a bounce. That's a gap breakdown. Weekly, monthly look lower. Back to Cousins. That's a way I mentioned all that. So let's just go up now. These are our ETF trades. American Airlines. They had a favorable Barron's mention, and I don't. I only read an article if I'm interested in the topic. I had zero interest, and this guy's saying buy American, but I pull up the chart. I'm like, that's a Bear Island reversal. This guy must not use technicals. And then with the week, I mean, it's ugly. What's Jets doing? Gap breakdown. That's a big gap. That's a big gap for an ETF. Look at that. That is a gap breakdown. And it has a void here. But it's a big gap, so I don't know what to do with it. Patrick Core. Um, that's a big old move pre-market. I don't know how you're gonna get on board. I got no interest. I don't know. You tell me when it sets up and we'll look at it. Light. Yeah, that's too far from the 20. That's it's strong, but too extended. Yeah, Nvidia, Greg mentioned. Let's look at that for put spread. Yep, and right to the 200. Perfect. Ideally, it'll overshoot it and come down to that major support. But yeah, let's watch that. And there is the bell. Spiders gapping right here to major support. But it's going to be it's an ugly 15. It's going to be an ugly hourly. Just had an alarm on L Lima. L Lima. Alex, that I think was yours. Let's set it higher now at 110.60. All right. Yeah, I mean, it didn't make it to the letter, but it made it to my watch list. You know, I'd want to see a closing breakout, but it's worthy. Pelletier, middle charts. Greg, how do you want to enter this, if at all?
Gotta be a pullback unless it's a stop under yesterday's low.
Well, yeah, of course it would be.
It's a bottoming pattern. No point. I don't, at that resistance, I'm not buying it.
No, I'm just asking. I thought you were kind of telling me pre-market you liked it.
I do. No, I said it got an upgrade.
All right. EQT broke out but lost the gap. Not sure. Well, it's far from the 20. It was a closing breakout on Friday. Silver
SN's
something.
going down.
Yeah,
It's
the
going to get stopped out.
Oh shoot! Yeah, what's going on with gold? Shoot, I'm in this, and I was planning on selling the 2550s on the gap up. Shit.
That alert just went off. HL's still okay. SN is not.
Right, right. So you want to give a 30-minute low or kill it?
I would give it like 15-minute low.
Sure. No, I hear you. Sounds good. I do that sometimes. It's like I don't want to wait for 30, but I don't want to do 5.
Mm.
So you give it a little more. Wow, Walmart up alarm. That's triggering. Didn't expect that.
Your Uber's pulling back. It not doesn't look bad, but bottoming pattern.
Oh yeah, it's Uber's a put spread. I think I had a tighter break even already, but you know, with the gap. Yeah, yeah. So let me check the premium and my notes. No, I did not adjust it yet. So it's the original stop, which is 72. So we have $1.70 room left. So I will set a stop, not a stop, an alarm at 72.90 for now. All right, spiders, wide range bar on the 5-minute. Look at that. Let me see how far away we can get.
These bars are very large. I measured one of the add-ons on NinjaTrader shows me the value of a bar based on the price of the one contract. The current NQ 5-minute bars, if you were going to put a stop underneath it, it's $400 for one contract, $414.
Doing H alarm. It's early, top of the range, but bottoming pattern. Let me check puts. I think they're spreading. They've tightened a little. The 280s. $5 wide, 53. The 280s. That's not bad. I just don't trust it right now. Let's come back to that around 10 a.m. All right, NVIDIA. Nice gap and snap. Somebody should have been yelling at me.
What do you want to do with it? If did you see if
That's
there's
right.
premium?
Yeah.
Well, it's down near 170. Good luck. Look.
Yeah, I'm shocked. That's zero DTE. Yeah, I'm looking at zero DTE. 175s, 43 cents. Let me go to try Wednesday. We could do the 170s for Wednesday. It's only 37. 17, we can do Friday, 60 cents, the 170s. I wish I did it.
You're talking naked or?
No,
Oh,
spread.
yeah.
Right, but I mean, I wish we 27 million shares already. I know it includes pre-market, but so the market's only been open 8 freaking minutes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the gap lower Friday and engulfing, I call that a continuation pattern, and it's bullish 15. UMAC not bad on Thomas, but tell me if it's directional or put spread. Directional, I don't like the reward to risk because the stop has to be bigger than today's low and you get resistance over here. But I do like a $13 put spread. XPO. Greg, I was tempted for the letter. Do you like it? It's
Let me
because the
look.
20 is far from the 50.
It's fine.
So
So
stop.
the way I explain these is it's not a concern because it came out of a base. So it's supposed to get extended like that. And it's consolidated into the 20. So it's created, support. So it's good. As long as it's got room to go up.
Thursday or Friday?
This pivot, I would just give it extra room and do half. Give it some extra room underneath there. I mean, problem, not a problem. that you have the next support level just below that. So we don't want it to go down there, but it's what's presented to us. I'd rather just give it a whole lot of room and buy a starter position.
Yes, absolutely. Alex, absolutely. In fact, I can point to a couple of them in the ETF letter right now. But let's do it when things slow down. Yeah, 100% we do. If the pattern is still, bullish. All right, so this then looks bad. Hey, coin turned green. That's nice. In fact, coin, I think, was one we added to. Yeah, just go look in the current open positions and the history is all there. It'll say buy half here, and we bought half here. Absolutely. All right, Noble up and down. PPH holding well. That was on your list. Greg, uranium alarm. We were watching that last week.
Trigger? No, just an outside
But
bar.
yeah, no, we gave NLR instead. Russell, I'm not sure if you're a subscriber to the letters, but we have three different letters, three different tracking sheets for open and close in the members area. But yeah, that's for letter people. Not, green room, we don't track them. Yeah, I'm glad I gave Ribbon extra room on the stump. Cert, sub-bottoming pattern. I would, I would, let's see. I would prefer it to close like this, and then it's a 1, 2, 3. But the 15 minutes seems okay, but I'd wait 30 minutes and then maybe 30-minute high, do a third or a half. SPSC alarm. That's a dog Climo I've been watching for 3 weeks. Russell, for stock and option trades, the advisory letter. Yeah, thanks. And then for selling options, the weekly options trader, and then ETF, but yeah, thanks. Ribbon. So our stops. Here in November, 15-minute low now. We have a half lot of this. So see, Alex, here's an example. We have a half lot, but I don't have a pattern to add. I'm not going to just arbitrarily do it over today's high because it's not a bullish thing. But yeah, if you look in the ETF, or we'll do it later. I'll show you where we added on different patterns. One.
ELTR stalling, starting to build a little base.